So, what you are essentially asking is, what is geopolitics and which form of geopolitics is the best? So, geopolitics is a sport. It is a sport that in which you make up the rules as you go. There are no written rules. Nothing is set in stone. And the objective of this sport is to basically acquire world domination, acquire control over the resources and territories and all the power and influence that is available in the world. That is the sport of geopolitics. There are no written rules. There is something called international law and all that, but that only applies to the weaker nations, not the top ranking global leaders, right? The ones that indulge in great power competition. So the really powerful nations, such as the United States, Russia, China, and some others sometimes, these nations, they write the rules as they go along. Sometimes they will abide by the United Nations resolutions, etc. And sometimes they will break whatever is called international law. They do as they seem fit in pursuit of certain objectives. So that is what we have to understand. What is geopolitics? What are the objectives? The objectives, like I said, is to acquire more territory, more power, more influence, control over resources. But at the core of the matter, geopolitics is about the national interest. It is the pursuit of the long term national interest that every country is engaged in. So that is what geopolitics is. Now, which form of geopolitics is the best? So, to answer this question, let's compare a few forms of geopolitics. The United States has been essentially in the 20th century an imperialistic power. It has spread its influence everywhere. It has military bases all over the world. It has a navy that sails every single ocean in the world, right? It has soldiers in basically on every continent, and it has had a part to play in almost every war, whether it is overt or covert, visible or invisible. So that is what the United States is. So it is pursuing global domination. That's what it has done over the 20th century. The Russians also did the same thing in the 20th century. They also played the same game, but not as successfully as the United States, which is why the USSR broke up, as we know very well. And the Chinese also pursue that same game of relentless expansion, and expansion not just of its borders, but also of its influence and its power, and it does this by various means. So this is what the United States does, what Russia does, and what China does. Now let's compare that with what India's policy has been for since it became an independent country in 1947. So India's policy has been that of non-alignment. We will not take any sides, but while saying that we are non-aligned, we took the side of the USSR, right? We did not pursue our national interest. We allowed ourselves to become weaker. We pursued policies, internal policies that kept us poor deliberately, and we did not deal with our belligerent neighbors the way we should have. So that is a different form of geopolitics. We always preach idealism, right? India's track record has been of sloganeering and talking about ethics and morality, and having an idealistic foreign policy in which you try to appease everybody at your own expense. So, what form of geopolitics is the best? Well, as you can see, India has not benefited from this particular course of action, which it has continued on for several decades. So, the best form of geopolitics is the pursuit of one's national interest. It is called realism. It's called realpolitik. It has nothing to do with morality or ideologies or Idealism. It's only about the long term objectives. You achieve them any which way you can. The Chinese have a saying: it doesn't matter whether the cat is black or white as long as it catches mice. So that is the way to approach geopolitics. You need to have a certain long term objective in mind, and then you have to do whatever it takes to reach there. Because at the end of the day, a country's government and a country's leader has only one responsibility. It is to serve and protect the interests of the country and its people. A leader's job is not to serve and protect the interests of other countries and other people, because they also have leaders who are doing that. So every leader, every government has to take care of its own internal matters, of its own national interest. And that is what geopolitics is supposed to be like. It's supposed to be the pursuit of your national interest and your national power. And to understand that better, you have to understand what the national interest is. So that's what we will get into during the course of this discussion. So that is why the United States seems to be unpredictable. That is why China behaves the way it is. The United States is not predictable, it is extremely predictable. You can always predict, you can always tell that it's going to follow its national interest. It's going to do what suits it best. And that is what geopolitics is all about.